folks before the convention that you are, perhaps the phrase political activist is too strong a term, it may be accurate, but that you were known to speak about certain issues that were important to you, and that, that I was more or less expecting to hear some of that from you. The reason I brought up the question about Senator Obama is the fact that, well, with Mr. Takei being here last hour and the recent developments in California being very important to him, it was an assumption on my part that Senator Obama's nomination would be very important to you gentlemen. So I wanted to throw that out to you as a hook to see where you would go with it.
Of course it is. Of course it is. You can look at me and know this is important to me. I mean, it's in a wonderful way. You can say, well, how does it feel to be the first black captain, African-American captain in Star Trek? How can I answer that question? It is. It's not. Huh? No. So, yes, you were right. Some folks told you that about activism, etc., because that's part of our lineage. That's part of my lineage. That indeed, were it not for people like Paul Robeson, who was an activist, who was also one of the greatest Americans that the country has ever produced, said long before that an artist's responsibility is to his people. Moreover, if it were not for Paul Robeson, then I wouldn't be sitting here. You see what I mean? And all the folks, and Sidney Poitier, you see what I mean? Because that's, Brock Peters. I mean, we could go on and on and on. So yes, and to honor the struggle, not just in terms of art, to honor the struggle, and the struggle being a sign of life rather than some negative, but to honor the struggle of people who have lived and died and fought for us to be here is exactly what I'm supposed to do. You see what I mean? I mean, to deny that, to deny the struggle, if you talk about the right to vote, for example, it is not a casual thing. In my lineage, in other places in the world, people still can't do it. You see, they have no right. But what we do know about this history is that people died for the right to vote. Now, what does that mean here? In 2008, it is enormously important. That moment last night is enormous in our history. Because now we unearth those things again, but we also have to celebrate the people who made and waged that struggle in the nation. Yeah? And it's not exclusive to black and white either. That's the point. That's that misdirection again, But by virtue of the fact, and I told you this could take a long time, but by virtue of the fact that there is an association, if I walk out in the street, I'm reminded all the time that I'm brown. You see what I'm talking about? I don't think about myself as being brown. I'm human. That's where we were raised. I'm not aware of it. And so in some sense, this discussion with this young man is elevating the conversation about who we are in this nation. And it is powerful. And the discussion is not over, but the conversation is now elevated. It has happened now. It's too late.
The thing that I'm thinking about how to put this into context is that I've been political for many years and grew up in the the late '60s and early '70s where it was that was all there was political fighting for the rights and all that stuff, protesting, and Tim, what is he going to do? How is he going to change? Because that's all he's been talking about for months and months and months, is change. How is he going to change? How is he going to do it? A lot of people that I know that have been in politics, that have gone to Washington, go there with very lofty ideas. And unless they are incredible human beings, they get pretty much beaten up by Washington. And it's not anything, it's the politics of it all. But if anybody can do it, he could. So, because I mean, it's an amazing moment, but like I said, maybe it's my skepticism or, whatever the case, but I just say, okay, this is great, let's see what happens. Let's go.
I think we all understand and appreciate the significance of the moment. And we'll see where it goes. What projects are you gentlemen working on right now? What could we see you next? Film, television, stage? Anything on the board for you?
I'm trying to do a movie with Brady Service right now. We put a story together, and I wrote a script about Maria Callas, the opera singer. And we've been trying, but I thought acting was tough, but this producing thing is it's just out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've gotten close, and we have a lot of interest, but that's what we're doing. That's going to be our focus.
I'm running in the middle of rehearsal. What that would say is, Overland College. Overland, Ohio. Yeah. Willie Loman is here somewhere. Yeah, Willie Loman. It's interesting as well because so many people are doing Miller now. He made his transition just about a couple of years ago, so there are all these pieces, people are doing Captain Salesman, all my sons, and I think Yale is doing production this year. Charles Diamond. No, that says that's not me. All my sons is going to be in New York this fall. Yeah, right? So it's very interesting because work's powerful, which leads one to believe again or say again, that great work has no time. That is, it has no time. And great thought has no time. Great music has no time. You know what that means. And thereby, to connect it this way, that in part is why Star Trek has lasted all these many years. Not in the way that Americans use greatness, necessarily, but the fact that it has taken its place in the lexicon, popular lexicon of classic, and the case can be made that people are going to be looking at this and how it was preserved as long as man is here. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah!
Can you hear me now?
Is there any one thing that each of you are most proud of, specifically connected to your work in the series that you did with Star Trek?